All right, all right, all right. Welcome, guys, to 4 steps to hack the Facebook algorithm. So, if you are watching this live, give me some likes. Go ahead and do some thumbs up. If you're, maybe coming back through watching the replay, um, hashtag replay. If you're on here live, just hashtag live for me. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to jump on here and then we'll get rolling. So
you are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
One of the things that you're going to learn today is you're going to learn 4 steps to hacking the Facebook algorithm. So you may be wondering, like, dude, what is this going to have to do with me? So whether you're a business owner, maybe you're someone who wants to be, maybe you're someone who just wants to leverage, Facebook specifically in this, really what I'm going to teach you is going to apply to any platform, but specifically on this, we're going to work with Facebook right now because that's the platform I'm on. But what I will teach you is exactly what I teach my clients that pay me, tens of thousands of dollars to learn this. Okay. Now, why am I going to give this to you for free? Well, most of the time I recognize this. If you don't pay, you don't play. What that means is typically if you don't pay somebody, then you don't take it as serious as somebody who does. So also I'm teaching you this because I recognize that this was something I didn't understand, and I want to be able to help as many people as possible. I have a goal to help a certain amount of people this year, which is over 300 business owners. And my goal is to give you the value to where you're like, hey, man, if this guy is going to teach me this for free, I can't imagine what he's actually going to teach me when I actually pay him. And so that is, why I do this. So guys, if you are on here listening, just hashtag live, hashtag replay if you're coming back through and doing that. But I really want to get into the training. So understanding that, let's understand a couple of things about social media. Number one, and I'm going to use this to draw this out, but like imagine each social media platform is kind of like a casino, and the odds always stack in the casino's favor. The goal with any casino is that you stay and continue to play or continue to be active in that casino, because they know that eventually you stay on there long enough, you're going to end up spending money. You're going to end up, giving them money, right? And so before I really get into the technical aspect of what we're doing, I want you to just think about Facebook is a casino, Instagram is a casino. Even though they're owned by the same family, they might as well just be different. TikTok has its own casino, LinkedIn does, and nobody wants YouTube. Nobody wants you to leave Facebook and go to Instagram. Nobody wants you to go to YouTube and leave YouTube and go to Facebook. So one of the consistent things that we see is people are sharing their content from one platform to the other. I will tell you this, your content will automatically get scored down if you do this. So stop doing it. That's probably the first and foremost thing. It might save you time, but it's not going to help you with your engagement. So let me get kind of going on this. So hack number one is to double down on the right type of content. What does that even mean? That means that the number one thing you need to learn when it comes to hacking the Facebook algorithm is just simply learning and understanding the right types of content that you need to be posting, every day. So what are the number one types of content? Number one, is live videos. These typically get the most out of it. Like depending on what platform you're on, maybe TikTok might not be the best for live videos, but it's definitely the best for reels. So use whatever they give you. I'm going to speak specifically to Facebook, but you can apply these same rules to the other places. So live videos are always the best because why? Well, since I've been on this training, I've automatically already told you to give me likes. I've automatically already told you to either hashtag live or hashtag replay. So I'm training you on how to engage on demand. And when I can do that, I can get immediate algorithm bumps. So even if you shared my content, which you can't do in the Facebook group, but if I'm on my profile, I could say, hey guys, share this, if you like it. So I'm creating engagement on demand. I'm asking questions, I'm asking for people to drop comments. I'm asking for reactions. And so live videos give you the best way to drive engagement and drive the algorithm up, because at the end of the day, the more people that are engaging in my content, the more that other people see it. Now, understand this, that the goal with anything that we're doing for content is we want to train people how to engage. Okay. So if we look at hierarchy of content, live videos, reels, and then asking questions. Now, why in that order? Because live videos, again, I explained engagement on demand. Reels are great right now on Facebook because everybody else is fighting over TikTok. They're fighting over Instagram. They're fighting over shorts on YouTube. However, reels on Facebook allow us to do a couple things. Number one, they allow your friends to see it. Number two, they allow people based off of demographics, based off of what your reels are about. It allows other people that are not necessarily your friends to see it. And so it has a lot greater potential than all of those things. Also, just asking basic questions allows you to be able to get people to respond and engage. Asking people to share. I think the biggest thing is you have to train your audience and ask them either questions, ask them how to engage with you, which we'll get into hack number 2, but having the right type of content and doubling down on that is going to be crucial. Now, I may go over to Instagram. Rules are still going to be the same. There's going to be specific content that gets rewarded better on Instagram than Facebook. You just have to learn it and understand what that is. So I don't want you to think that both content on both platforms will work the same, but I will say this, that the rules still apply. There's specific content on, Facebook that works better. There's specific content on YouTube. There's specific content on Instagram that works best. You just need to figure out what that is. Number 2, ask your audience to engage. What does that mean? That means that you have to train your audience how to engage. I'll give you guys a story. I had a chiropractor come into my program 3 years ago. He's actually been my longest standing client in HBL. Guy's probably done over $2 to $2.5 million in added revenue from our program because he learned this thing. He'd done over 300 podcasts. He'd been posting every single day, but the one thing that people weren't doing is engaging in his content. And so you have to teach people to engage. So with every piece of comment, you have to give people a call to action. So it's not always about selling. It's not always about promoting. It's just simply telling them what you want them to do. Now, it's sort of like Simon Says. Simon doesn't say, hey, like, comment, share, give me a heart on every piece of content. They usually say, hey, if you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about this, drop a comment and I'll reach out to you. Do you agree? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. So when we do this, it's one action or one engagement at a time. We don't want to ask multiple. Okay. And so this is what happens a lot of times. People give too many directions, nobody takes any. Okay. So when you're doing this, make sure that you're only really doing one call to action at a time. You're making it really easy to engage. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Hey, if you looked at your content today, is your content engagement worthy? Ask yourself, hey, is the content I'm actually putting out engagement worthy? Am I making it easy for people to engage, or am I making it difficult? Here's some of the ways we may make it difficult. If you're on here and you are trying to conduct business, you're trying to make some money, here's some of the biggest mistakes I see. Number one mistake I see is people will tell you to call, people will tell you go to a website. Well, guess what? I'm already on Facebook. I'm already on social media, dude. By you telling me to go to your by you telling me to go to your website or to call you, I've now made it more difficult to become a client. Plus, I can't track how many people are trying to call me. I can't track how many people are going to my website because I don't know where this person started. Versus if I said, hey, if you're interested in this, drop a comment and I'll reach out to you. They drop a comment, you can reach out to them, you can track them. But I can't tell you this. For every person that is operating social media right now on Facebook or Instagram, I can guarantee you that if you're doing at least $30,000 a month in revenue, that you are missing out on $5,000 to $10,000 every month because you don't understand this one thing. And so by you not knowing this, you're missing out on a minimum of $60,000 to $120,000 a year by just understanding this principle alone. And it's the number one way you're going to mess things up. So engagement is the most important thing when it comes to our content, and you have to train your people exactly how you want them to engage. Okay. Number three way to hack the algorithm is to really give your audience what they want. What does that mean? So give your audience what they want. Okay, so let's use the analogy of a taxi cab. Okay, the number one thing every taxi cab driver does once you get in the car is you say, hey, where do you want to go? Okay, well, asking your audience and knowing where your ideal clients want to go is key when it comes to content and giving them what they want. So what makes, your ideal clients laugh? What angers them? What frustrates them? What excites them? So what makes them laugh? What angers them? Anger or frustration? What excites them? And what inspires them? So you need to, you really need to learn what excites your audience. You need to learn what inspires them, what makes them laugh, all those things, because those are going to be super important. And you need to know how to put it in your content, because that's going to get them to do it anymore. I know for me, typically the people we attract, not always, but I'll say 80% are probably more conservative. They have specific values. They're probably more, married, have families. So, talking about, things that frustrate them, talking about things that might anger them, talking about what excites them. Most of the time, it might be having more freedom, spending more time with their family, having another source of income, things like that. What inspires them? They're very growth minded. They want to know how they can grow and get better, not just in business, but other areas of life. And then what makes them laugh is, obviously having a sense of humor is big, right? And so we want to make sure that we're doing those things. Now, with all of that, is we also want to be vulnerable. Okay. And I'm going to give you this. So, like, being vulnerable means that we're just connecting people to our stories. Our mess becomes our mission and our message. Okay. And so, are you able to talk about your mess? Are you able to talk about things that maybe you've messed up in the past? Because people are going to connect to you the more vulnerable you are. Here's what I will say though. There is a thing that I've created today, and it's called toxic vulnerability. And it's kind of being fake vulnerable in order to gain access to a client. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, it's almost like the toxic vulnerability is almost like saying like, hey, I went through this issue, but you make it so bad that you kind of turn into a victim, and you over dramatize it to get your point across so that you can get people to respond to you. And so there is a toxic vulnerability happening in the marketplace today, to where people are being over dramatic about what they've been through to just get access to more clients. And we're seeing this more and more. And so when I say be vulnerable, like, hey, talk about some of the pains, talk about the struggles, talk about the mistakes that you've made, so that people can connect to that. They're like, hey, man, I've made those same mistakes myself. But I also think that in the marketplace today, and the difference, like, there's a drama that comes with toxic vulnerability that's happening more than ever. And it's kind of sickening. And so the stuff I'm talking about is just sharing, hey, these are the pains, these are the struggles and mistakes I made. See, when you talk about things that have held you back, and they no longer have power over you, there's a way to connect that, and there's a way to connect to your audience with that. And then also, understanding this, that, just sharing your story, sharing, what your mission is and what your message is, it's a way for people to become and be a part of that. And I always think of like, hey, the mission of what we're doing at Habit Based Lifestyle is to help transform people's businesses and lives. And we want people to be a part of that. We want them to know, like, hey, dude, this is not a marketing company. This is a results company. And we want to make sure we get you results in your business, but we also want to make sure you get results in other areas of your life, because we recognize that as just as great a value as anywhere else. I'm going to give you one last piece, because each of these I believe is really important. So I want to review them. Double down on the right types of content. That's number one. Live videos, reels, asking questions, things like that, asking for feedback. Those are always great ways to do that. Remember, all engagement is good engagement, even if you don't agree with it. Number two, engagement. It all comes down to how many active people do I have on my friends list versus how many total friends or followers do I have. So it doesn't make sense for you to have 5,000 inactive friends, or, kind of on Instagram. And I went through this for a period of time, to where it's like, hey, we get caught up in how many followers we have. But at the end of the day, it's not about followers, it's about active followers. And so social media is no different. Like, we need to have as much engagement with our audience as possible. And I've seen people with 150, 500 friends total make $15,000 to $20,000, where I've seen other people with, 5,000 total friends, and they can't make any money. And so it all comes back to how many engaged followers do you have? Are you teaching people how to engage in your content? And are you making it simple for them to do that? Now, the other thing is give your audience what they want. Think about it this way. The more you can give people what they want, the more that they're going to pay attention to you. So if you're making them laugh, if you're talking about what angers you, what frustrates you, what excites you, what inspires you, those things and what inspires them, and you're communicating it, they're going to be attracted to you. The last piece is being vulnerable, talking about, hey, these are the mistakes I've made. These are the pains, the struggles, and things that I've been through. That really helps people connect to you and be like, man, I was like this too, or I'm doing this exact same thing. And I told you I'm going to give you an extra one. So I'm going to say this: the algorithm loves consistency more than anything else. And do you know who else loves consistency more than anything else? Your audience. And so think about it this way: the last 5 purchases you've made, if you just trace back, and let's just say it's over $1,000 or maybe $1,500, the reason you chose to buy from the person you did or buy whatever you did is because you saw some level of consistency. And so consistency is going to do 2 things. You show up consistently, it's going to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And most people are like, dude, how do I get people to know, like, and trust me? Well, guess what? If you show up consistently, they get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you. And here's what happens in today's marketplace. If I want to know about you, I'm going to your social media profile. I'm not going to your website. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to Google. I'm going to your profile on social media, and I'm going to look you up, and I'm going to look at how consistent you are, the consistency of your message, the consistency of your branding, and the consistency of you putting yourself out there before I decide to, reach out to you. And so consistency not only is what Facebook looks at with your content, are you consistently putting out content, but they also reward you for it, because the more consistent you are with posting, the more consistent you are with when you do it, the more that they reward you with that. And your audience is able to know you, like you, and trust you and benefit from that. So maybe you guys are watching this right now and you're like, hey, what is the call to action? Maybe you're listening to this. What do I do from here? Well, here's what I could tell you. If you want to know about how we can help you hack the algorithm, but also get an ROI from this, you can just drop a comment right now, ROI, and that's return on investment. We will personally reach out to you and see if we can possibly help, depending on what type of business you have. If you're listening to the podcast, maybe you're listening to the replay, what is the one thing you're taking away from this training? Because we would love to be able to help you and give you an opportunity to get results from this. There's nothing I'm teaching you that isn't a secret or any of those things. If you're in my program, I'm going to teach you this same thing. I'm just going to be able to coach you and guide you on it and give you some advice on how you can get better results. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what we teach. This is what we live by. So if you need help with this, you can personally reach out to me, jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. You can go to, my Facebook profile. You can message me directly, or you can comment ROI on this specific post, and we'd love to be able to help you. You guys, I'm going to be doing this every week inside of this group, and you may be catching the replay. You may be watching in the group, but let me know how we can best support you and help you moving forward. Hope you guys have an awesome day.
You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.